And good afternoon to everyone here. The Honorable Minister of National Defense, representing the government of Madagascar. Honorable heads of institutions, His Excellency, the former President of the Republic of Madagascar, dear members of the government, dear members of the Permanent Bureau of the Senate, members of the Permanent Bureau of the National Assembly, members of the Senate, members of the National Assembly, Madame the Mayor of the Urban Commune of Antananarivo, the Honorable Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, fellow ambassadors, colleagues, and members of the Diplomatic Corps missions, United Nations organizations, international and regional organizations, dear consuls general and honorary consuls, dear military and civilian dignitaries, honorable guests, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you everyone for joining us today to help us celebrate the 241st anniversary of American independence and the 150th anniversary of the establishment of American-Malagasy relations. In 1866, 150 years ago, President Andrew Johnson sent the first representative of the United States government, Mr. John Finkelmeyer, to negotiate a treaty with the new sovereign of Madagascar, Queen Rasuheri. In his dispatches back to Washington, Finkelmeyer told of the gracious people he found in Madagascar, of the beauty of its seaside towns, and of the wealth of natural resources that gave this island such enormous potential for growth. He marveled at the intricacies and complexities of the Malagasy traditions and customs, and of the energy and vibrancy he found in Tomasina, along with the accompanying high price of real estate in this bustling port city at this time. John Finkelmeyer's overall impressions can be summed up in this phrase from one of his earliest letters home. He wrote, "The country of Madagascar has fast surpassed my expectations." Many of us here today still repeat that same phrase. The country of Madagascar has far surpassed my expectations. The first U.S.-Madagascar treaty was signed during a period of enormous change for our two countries. The United States had just emerged from a civil war and was recovering from the loss of one of our greatest presidents, Abraham Lincoln. As former slaves began to take their roles as free citizens, there were enormous social and political changes taking place throughout our society. In Madagascar, Queen Rasuheri had been on the throne for just 3 years, and following the death of her husband, was looking to redefine the country's relationships with Europe on terms that respected Madagascar's sovereignty. Despite the uncertainty that prevailed in both our nations, in 1867, the United States of America and Madagascar signed a treaty and found a way to build a partnership, a friendly and cooperative relationship that benefited the people in both countries at that time and which continues to this day. As Madagascar continues to create and strengthen a stable democracy, America will continue to be its partner, as we have been for 150 years. Through USAID, we will continue to fund improvements to healthcare, agriculture, and nutrition. This year, we launched together with the Ministry of Public Health, an exciting new $33 million community health activity, Mahefa Miadaka, which means we're able together to improve the health of millions of Malagasy women and children. Just last week, we awarded $33 million for a water, sanitation, and hygiene program designed in close collaboration and cooperation with the staff of the Ministry of Water, Energy, and Hydrocarbon. We will continue to sponsor artists like Kenny Wesley to build cultural bridges between our people. We will continue to promote military-to-military cooperation, to provide training to military personnel by engaging in joint exercises, and through donations of equipment like the Metal Shark patrol boat we presented to the government earlier this year. We will continue to support people who want to master English through scholarships, exchange programs, English language fellows, and especially through the work of Peace Corps volunteers, where nearly 150 volunteers work side by side with Malagasy students, farmers, and health workers, fostering collaboration and friendship between our cultures while promoting education, food security, and good health. Americans in Malagasy share an innovative and entrepreneurial spirit, and we embrace, we welcome, and we adapt to change and diversity in our lives. It is evident as we see the effect of urbanization to the thousands of small businesses that line the streets of Antananarivo and other major cities throughout the country. I see it in the Mandela Fellows and other young African Leadership Initiative participants who are brimming with ideas on how to spur economic growth and development. I see it in the public and nonprofit sector, as my colleagues and I work with our partners in the government and NGOs to devise innovative responses to problems in Madagascar, such as the effects of climate change, the ongoing drought in the south, and the seasonal cyclones that wreak havoc on coastal areas. There can be no doubt that our countries will both face many kinds of change over the next 150 years of our relationship. But I have no doubt that as Madagascar continues to develop into a more prosperous state with a robust democratic tradition, our partnership will only strengthen to the benefit of both of our countries. Last November, the United States held the election for our 45th president, an election that many thought would be historic for the election of perhaps the first female president. Instead, it was historic for the election of the first person with no prior government experience as either an elected official or a military leader, but nevertheless was a titan of American business and a model of entrepreneurial success that caught the imagination of the American people. The victory of Donald Trump, and now President Trump, came as a surprise to many experts and pollsters, and while those who supported other candidates were disappointed, we, as Americans, accepted the result as a nation. Since taking office, President Trump and his administration have worked to find common ground with the Democratic and Republican lawmakers so that he can implement the policies he thinks are best for the country and fulfill his campaign promises of creating a stronger and more secure United States, which will in turn lead to a more stable world for all of us. While our U.S. elections called attention to the existing differences between various groups within our country and the challenges we face as Americans, we acknowledge those differences and we will continue to face those challenges together as Americans. I will readily admit my country, America, remains deeply divided in a political sense, and while many remain disappointed with the outcome of our presidential election last year, our electoral process remains sacrosanct. Our electoral process has withstood the test of time since independence in 1776 and is a constitutional right of the people, by the people, and for the people. And so, as Madagascar looks to 2018 for your own presidential and legislative elections, keep in mind the most recent American example where we overcame a difficult and contentious election, where we overcame out of respect for the electoral process. In 2018, no matter how difficult, no matter how contentious, have the free, fair, inclusive, and transparent elections that are in the best interests of Malagasy people. Let the Malagasy people decide, and let the Malagasy people take responsibility of the results, whatever they may be. And thank you very much. God bless Madagascar, and God bless the United States of America.